Hey everybody, this is your Digital Super Saiyan 3 back here with another video, and welcome to the month of October for my October pay-per-view review. And this one was one of the ones I wanted to do for a while now, and this, for the month of October, I chose WWF No Mercy 1999. Took place on October 17th, 1999 in Cleveland, Ohio at the Gun Arena. On commentary, you got Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler. So as the name suggests, it is No Mercy. So this is the inaugural No Mercy pay-per-view. As No Mercy has often been associated with the month of October. Until 2009, which it would be replaced by Hell in a Cell. So here it is, my review of No Mercy 1999. So, we start things off with our opening contest as the Godfather defeats Midian. And yes, this match wasn't a very good match to start the show off, but hey, Midian and the Godfather weren't known for being really technically sound guys, and now this match came about after the Godfather had beat Midian on SmackDown a couple nights ago. And so, before No Mercy went on the air, on Sunday Night Heat, the Godfather asked Vince McMahon in his office. He went to Vince McMahon. He said, I want a match with Midian. I want to get my hands on Midian because of the beatdown they gave me on SmackDown that both Midian and Viscera had given me, and Vince granted the Godfather his wish. So yes, this was a match that was added on to No Mercy, and it was kicking off No Mercy. So, yeah, there you go. This was built off of Midian and Viscera's attack on the Godfather this past Thursday night on SmackDown. So, Godfather ends up beating Midian with a roll-up, and, he's celebrating in the ring with the Hose and Tim White, and yes, Tim White was the referee in this match. So, there you go. Miss you, Tim. So we get into a clip from Sunday Night Heat of an interview earlier with Triple H when he was coming to the arena. He was doing an interview with Michael Cole in the parking lot, talking about what he had done this past Thursday night on SmackDown about the trick he had played on Stone Cold Steve Austin, saying, I deserve an Oscar for that piece after what happened on Thursday night. He also describes how this is the most pissed off that Stone Cold has ever been. He might get some shots in, but in the end, I'm going to walk away still the WWF champion. And yes, Triple H was in the midst of his second WWF title reign. And yes, later on that same edition of Heat, Vince would end up making the match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H for the WWF title a no-holds-barred match. So next up, we get into our next match. It is a match for the WWF Women's Championship. So it's our first of three title matches on this show, because the European title is not defended on this show. The tag team titles are not defended. So it's just the women's title, the IC title, and the WWF title. So out comes the Fabulous Moolah and Mae Young as they enter the Gun Arena first. They come out first. And then we get an interview with the women's champion Ivory. She talks about how the WWF's had enough of Moolah's history, even despite the fact that Michael Cole was talking about how long Moolah's been around, and Ivory says, I don't care about how much Moolah's history is, because I'm pretty sure we already have enough of her history. So then Ivory comes out the defending women's champion, and we get the worst match on this show. I mean, if you thought, like, the Godfather Midian match wasn't bad compared to this one was a lot worse. I mean, you got this 80-plus-year-old woman in Moolah teaming with Mae Young, or having Mae Young in her corner, I mean, taking on this young 28-year-old / almost 30-year-old Ivory. So Ivory is like, you see Mae Young get abused in this match, like you hear Jerry Lawler make a lot of old people jokes just talking about how old the Fabulous Moolah and Mae Young are. I mean, Moolah got hit, or Mae Young got hit in the head with the title belt. She got drop kicked off the apron. Like, she has been taking, like, she takes 3 apron spots non-stop in this match. The match ends when Moolah rolls Ivory up in one of the worst looking pins or worst looking roll-ups I've ever seen. And Moolah wins. She's the women's championship. Yeah, the Fabulous Moolah was not so fabulous because of all the stuff that's come out about her over the years. So, yeah, there's that. So, Moolah is now the new WWF Women's Champion. This 80-plus-year-old woman. Alright. So, we cut back to the episode of Heat, where the moment where Vince made this a no-holds-barred match for the main event between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H, where Triple H was in Vince's office, and Vince told Triple H, go out and prove yourself. Show us what you can do in no-holds-barred. And now we get into our next match. It is a tag team match as the Hollies, Hardcore and Crash, defeat the New Age Outlaws via disqualification. And this was an okay match, to be honest. Nothing too fancy. It ends when Hardcore brings a chair into the ring, and it gets knocked out of his hands, and Billy Gunn nails Crash with the Famouser on the steel chair. Referee, I think it was Jack Dome, or I think it was Mike Chioda who... I think it was Mike Chioda who was refereeing this match. Mike Chioda sees it, and he disqualifies the Outlaws, even though Hardcore brought the chair into the ring. The Hollies end up getting the victory, winning via disqualification. And now we cut into something really, really good on this show. It is a good housekeeping match, as Chyna defeats Jeff Jarrett to win the Intercontinental Championship. You see, Chyna and Jeff Jarrett are competing in like a hardcore environment, but have to use nothing but household items you see in a household. You see laundry, or you see lots of things you see in a household. Pots, pans, mops, brooms. Oh, and not to mention pies. Jeff Jarrett hits Chyna in the face with the Intercontinental title belt. Teddy Long, who was the referee, does the 3 count, but then ends up reversing the decision on Jarrett, saying, no, you use the IC title, that's not a household item. So because of the fact that Jarrett used the Intercontinental title the referee made this match continue. And so, Jarrett is pissed, and Jeff is going to try to lock Teddy Long in the figure 4 leg lock, only for Chyna to come into the ring and hit Jeff Jarrett in the head over the head with his own guitar. Chyna comes in, wins with the 1-2-3. She's the new Intercontinental Champion. Oh yes, and this was Jeff Jarrett's very last pay-per-view for the WWF before leaving for WCW because he held Vince McMahon up for so much money. And he threatened to leave the company with the IC title. You know, what was Jeff Jarrett thinking? What got into Jeff Jarrett's head to even do this? And yes, Jeff Jarrett eventually came back to the WWE and got a Hall of Fame induction in 2018. Just 19 years after this show, he got a Hall of Fame induction. Yeah, funny how that all works out. Now we get into next up, we get into our next match on the show. We have The Rock defeating the British Bulldog in a very lackluster match. Bulldog. Poor Bulldog. You know, this was at a time period where the Bulldog was not in the best of shape. This was after his run in WCW had ended, and this was around the time he started getting addicted to painkillers. Screw you, Ultimate Warrior. Screw you for being responsible for what happened to Davey Boy. It's your fault he got addicted to painkillers. Yeah. After the trapdoor he took bumps on at Fall Brawl 98. Yeah, you were responsible for that trapdoor that no one told anybody about. For that stupid entrance you made in the War Games match. I mean, you were a bitter old bastard who not only ruined your own career, but you took 2 other careers down with you. And one of them being the British Bulldog. I'm glad you're dead, Warrior. I'm glad the Warrior's dead. After I had to learn the truth about him. Ugh. But yeah, The Rock and the British Bulldog had a really terrible match on this show. It was not a very good match. I mean, The Rock just beats the British Bulldog down, and oh yes, this was coming off the heels of the fact that The Rock rock-bottomed the British Bulldog on a pile of dog crap. Yes, the British Bulldog got rock-bottom into a pile of dog crap. The dog poop! The dog poop! The dog poop! Yes, I know. But yeah, it's really sad just seeing what became of the Bulldog as just the years went on. I mean, he would die a couple years later from his painkiller addiction. Ugh, it's just sad. But we follow that matchup with the best match of 1999, and it's a match where both teams were really happy about, and that is the Hardys. The Hardys, aka the New Brew, taking on Edge and Christian in the first ever tag team ladder match, where what's held above the ring is $10,000 and, of course, the managerial contract of Terri Runnels. So you have all 4 of these guys coming out, risking their life and limb, not only having the greatest match in 1999, but doing so just to also have $10,000 plus plus the managerial services of Terri Runnels on top of that. So yes, this portion of the Matt and Jeff Hardy's career was a match that not only was Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy and Edge and Christian so proud of, but this was a match that was not only a great match, but also it showcased what these four were capable of. Now, we did see these four have a match earlier this year at the King of the Ring, and it showed that the chemistry they had in a ladder match was just superb. And yes, Edge and Christian came out first, and then the Hardys came out as part of the new brood with Gangrel. Gangrel got sent back to the locker room, leaving all four of these men to just beat the ever holy hell out of each other. But in the end, the match ends when Jeff Hardy knocks Edge off the top of the ladder, and the Hardys have secured not only the bag of $10,000, but also the contract for Terri Runnels. And the Hardys end up celebrating backstage with Terri. So now the Hardys have Edge and Christian, or has the $10,000 plus the managerial services of Terri Runnels. Where Edge and Christian go home empty-handed, on the other hand. Next up, we get the other half of the Rock and Sock connection as Mankind is taking on Val Venus. Now, earlier tonight on Heat, when Mankind was searching all over the Gund Arena for The Rock, he was trying to give The Rock a copy of his book. He thought The Rock was in the men's room, but The Rock just arrived, and Mankind says, "Oh, I guess I gotta go back and get the copy of the book." So, Mankind tries to go back to the bathroom, and he ends up getting jumped by Val Venus in the men's room. Val Venus ends up beating down Mankind in the men's room, and he says, "Here's your book, Mick." And so now, right before we are about to have the Mankind and Val Venus match, out comes The Rock back out. So The Rock comes back again. He comes out to cut a promo talking about how he plans to challenge for the WWF Championship. Whether it's Steve Austin or Triple H, he plans to challenge the champion. And he says that I am going to become the World Wrestling Federation Championship again. And right as The Rock is about to come back through the curtain, he is attacked by Triple H with that damn sledgehammer. The goddamn sledgehammer. As Triple H using the sledgehammer is beating down The Rock. He's beating down The Rock hard with the sledgehammer, and the EMTs and Sergeant Slaughter are having to pick up The Rock, and Mankind's checking up on Rock before his match with Val Venus. And Rock's like, "Off the Rock." Yeah. Now, Rock is refusing to go to the hospital after the beatdown he had received from Triple H. So Mankind comes back out. So Mankind goes out for his match with Val Venus, and we're into the next match with Val Venus versus Mankind. Mankind is trying to get back Rocco, which was taken from him by Val Venus. Yes, that's right. Rocco, which is a sock with The Rock's face on it. And Mankind is going to try to do everything in his power just to get Rocco back. So, the match ends when Mankind tries to hit has Val Venus in the mandible claw. Referee doesn't see it. Val Venus goes low and then hits the money shot on Mankind, getting the victory. And Val Venus ends up taking the W over Foley aka Mankind, take over Mick Foley as Mankind. But then Foley ends up beating down Val Venus in a post-match beatdown. Even though Val Venus won the match, he did not win the war because Foley did get Rocco back. And now we're still getting checkups on The Rock. And yes, The Rock is in the trainer's room. He is still refusing to go to the hospital. And now we get into a really, really good match. Something really good. We get a 4 corners match as X-Pac defeats Farouk, Bradshaw, and Kane in a 4 corners elimination match. This was actually a really, really entertaining match from start to finish. Yeah, you have the smallest guy in X-Pac defeating 3 other guys who are much bigger than him in the form of Farouk, Bradshaw, and Kane. And yes, was there doubt that this small guy could hang with the big men and make it in the land of the giants? Well, absolutely there was doubt. But in the end, the smallest guy in the fight ended up being the winner. And now we get into it. For the WWF Championship, months of aggression finally reach a boiling point as Stone Cold Steve Austin challenges Triple H for the WWF title. So, Austin is back. This is Austin making his return to the ring after the brutal post-match attack he had suffered at SummerSlam. Austin is planning to make hell for Triple H. I mean, heck, they had a brawl all over the Georgia Dome on Raw, which led to Triple H having a close encounter with a rattlesnake. However, Triple H faked that he got bitten by the snake, using special makeup that he used to create a big swollen eye, and he faked out Austin by trying to surrender the title to him, only leading to Austin getting beaten down in the locker room by Triple H on SmackDown. So, Austin comes out first since he's the challenger, because why wouldn't Austin come out first? And then Triple H ends up coming out as he's holding the damn sledgehammer in his hand. Vince McMahon comes out and he takes the sledgehammer from Triple H, leading to Triple H attacking Vince, and then Austin coming out and attacking Triple H, and the fight was on, and the no-holds-barred matchup was on, as the two began brawling all over the Gund Arena. Triple H and Austin were brawling all over the Gund Arena as the WWF title was on the line. Nothing was bolted down. The two were at war. But in the end, the match ends when The Rock came back down to the ring. The injured Rock came out. The Rock, who was badly injured, mind you, comes out wielding a sledgehammer trying to hit Triple H just like Triple H had hit him earlier tonight. He inadvertently strikes Austin with the sledgehammer, and Triple H then gives The Rock a pedigree, and then Triple H pins Austin and retains the WWF title, only leading to a post-match beatdown when Triple H and Austin are continuing the fight in the back. only for Triple H to flee with the WWF title with Chyna inside a limousine when Chyna shows up with a limo and tells Triple H to get in the limo, and Triple H gets in the limo, and the limo drives off, leaving Austin just with his mouth gaped open, and thus the pay-per-view ends. So that was No Mercy 1999. Final thoughts? Well, it definitely was a good start to the No Mercy pay-per-views we would see in October from 99 to 2008. We had a good total of 9 years for No Mercy, and yeah, there was that. Anywho, this is been your Digital Super Saiyan 3, and I will see you guys next time for when I do Survivor Series 2004. See ya!